is a message from Fosun.
Hello, Wolves fans. I'm presuming pretty much everybody watching this is a Wolves fan. If you're not a Wolves fan, I don't really know why you're here, but hi, welcome to whatever this is. There's been a lot of discontent and anger recently in the Wolves fan base, mostly towards the executive management and the ownership of the club. A lot of it stems, for the most part, from the general malaise around the club last season. The performances were just god-awful. It was just miserable, frankly. You know, I know that around kind of March time, I was just waiting for the season to end, hoping for it to come as soon as possible. And I'm sure a lot of other Wolves fans felt the same way. And that was then exacerbated by the summer transfer window. We were all pretty excited going into the summer. New manager, Bruno Lage. We were ready to support him, ready to see what he would bring to the club. And, you know, promises from Jeff Shi of exciting new players. And when we picked up Francisco Trincao out of nowhere fairly early on, it looked like things were going to be pretty good. Unfortunately, that turned out to be pretty much it. Despite a pretty, rich assortment of rumours swirling around the club in the dying days of the transfer window, the only late signing that we picked up was the South Korean bulldog Hwang Hee-chan, and while I'm sure a lot of us are happy with that signing, I'm happy with that signing, and he's looked really good so far. The general consensus is it wasn't enough. There should have been a lot more done, particularly with the rumours swirling around about Sven Botman, Renato Sanchez, Boubacar Kamara. It was exciting. We wanted these signings, and they were the right transfer targets. You could see that we were identifying players that we needed, but we just weren't getting the deals over the line, and that is what caused so much frustration. And following the end of the transfer window, the discontent has continued to a lesser extent, but particularly over the last few days, there's been a lot of brand announcements and things like that from Wolves. We've seen the esports team, clothes ranges, and most recently, and what caused a fair bit of backlash, the new Wolves record label. A lot of people weren't happy about this, and a lot of people have been saying, focus on the football. Why is all this investment going into other areas when it should be going into signing players? And that's something that I want to talk about first, because I feel like a lot of people have this misconception that resources are going towards these non-football ideas rather than football, and it's just not true. Jeff Shi is not out here setting up record labels when he could be signing Sven Botman, alright? Jeff's got nothing to do with this. This is Fosun. Fosun have set up a record label, and because Wolves are their most marketable asset, they're linking them together. Putting the Wolves name in that record label provides more attention from the media. It instantly provides name recognition. Even if someone had never heard of the record label, they've heard of Wolves, it instantly grabs the attention. It's not taking anything away from the actual running of the football club. They're completely separate entities. It's just the name. And the same goes for the esports. Scott Sellers is not going to be on the phone with Renato Sanchez's agent and then cancelling the deal, putting down the phone to go and sort out some esports stuff. Right, it's got no impact on any of that. So this element of the anger, I think, really is just people starting to take out their frustration pretty much just on everything that they can, and that is understandable. People are annoyed. I'm annoyed. We should have signed more players. The transfer window was not satisfactory, but this is not really the way to go about it. All that's happening is people are shouting on Twitter at, the social media admin or the head of commercial development, whatever that position's called. It's not going to help at all. The people to be angry at are Jeff Shi, Scott Sellers, those kind of people, right? Not the commercial side, not the record label. It doesn't matter, right? You can just ignore that. It's got nothing to do with the football club or the way it's run or our transfers. People just need to chill out a bit about that kind of stuff. And if anything, the only effects that I can see from these kind of expanding the brand moves, the only effects that I can see are positive. It gets the Wolves name out there, it increases the value of the brand, and it increases revenue into Fosun and into the club, which is only a positive. And for me, it shows that because Fosun are investing so much in expanding the brand, and they're linking so many other separate things to the Wolves name, they're committed. They're in this for the long haul. They aren't going anywhere anytime soon. They want us to be as good as possible, because when we're as good as possible, we're as valuable as possible. At the end of the day, it's still all about money. Fosun understands that the better the club is, the more well known the club is, the more valuable it is. And Fosun are aware, very much so, that if we, for example, got relegated, value of the club goes down like that, drops like a stone. Clubs in the Championship have nowhere near the value of clubs in the Premier League. Fosun aren't going to let that happen, and this is why I get kind of annoyed at people who start throwing around the word relegation after one bad performance. I mean, come on. We've played 5 games. We've played well in 4 of them. But that's a pretty decent ratio of good games to bad games, in my opinion. I think people need to chill out. I know, Wolves fans tend to have a pretty negative outlook. It's important to remind yourselves that we're a decent team. Look at the squads. We've got a better squad than Norwich. We've got a better squad than Newcastle. We've got a better squad than Watford. Those are 3 teams just off the top of my head that we are better than. And we have a good manager. Wins are possible. Goals are going to come. We won against Watford pretty comfortably. We played well in that game. So it's not like against every lower team we're going to struggle like that. We struggled against Brentford, yeah. And Brentford played well. You got to give credit to Brentford. They defended really, really well. Yeah, they time wasted. It was a bit pathetic. But they deserved the win. And Brentford are a decent team. I have full faith that we are going to be comfortably mid-table. I mean, seriously, last season, everything that could go wrong seemed like it did go wrong. We had so many injuries. Jimenez out, Neto out, Podence out, Bolly out. Nuno's football was just dreadful. No one enjoyed last season. It was horrible. And we still comfortably avoided relegation. And I think we can all agree that the team this year, despite the terrible transfer window, overall the team this year, including the manager, we're in a better place. We're looking better, we're playing better football, we're going to be fine. So I think people just need to relax. Just need to relax and stop getting overly annoyed at completely unrelated brand expansion deals and stuff. It doesn't need to be even talked about, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we'll set up a record deal. Cool. That's all it needs to be. There's a lot to be annoyed about, for sure, at Fosun, but it's got to be at the right people. It doesn't have to be at the commercial team. They're doing nothing wrong. In fact, they're doing a lot right. I think people need to have a bit of patience. It's worth mentioning, of course, that the financial situation at the club over the summer wasn't great. We've just come out of a global pandemic where everybody was badly affected, and Wolves were actually one of the worst affected of all Premier League clubs. Only 2 clubs lost more money than us because of the pandemic. And those clubs were, off the top of my head, I believe Liverpool and Man City. Or it was definitely Liverpool and then one other big club. And losing that kind of money is way more impactful to us than it is to Liverpool. You've got to keep that in mind. We didn't have a whole lot of money. But things like the Renato Sanchez deal, it's a loan deal, just get it done. Or Kiefer Moore, it's not like anybody was super excited about Kiefer Moore, but it's just another player, another body, some more depth, another option off the bench that we don't really have, particularly with Jimenez still kind of struggling back to fitness. So yeah, it was pretty frustrating, but I'm still kind of cautiously optimistic about future transfer dealings, mainly because one of the things that I took from the summer transfer window that was a positive is that our scouting team, the guys who are identifying the signings we need to make, they've got their heads on straight. They know what they're doing. They identified a lot of players who would have been really great for our system, who would have been available for not as much money. You could see that we were really trying to exploit the situation in Ligue 1, where there's a lot of very good players available for not very much money, which is an intelligent recruitment process. So in terms of the players that we're identifying, that's all good. It's just in the negotiation phase. It's just in the actual sorting out the deal phase that improvements need to be made, and we need to be more decisive. We need to be more willing to spend a little bit of money, and hopefully we could still go back in for someone like Renato Sanchez in January. There's been a lot of rumours suggesting that we will, and that would be great. I think we can all agree we need a centre-back. It's clear that the scouting team are aware that we need a centre-back. We were linked with Douye Taleta-Char. I think that's how you pronounce it, but we were linked with Sven Botman, and later on we were linked briefly with Tosin Adarabio. These are all good centre-backs. They all would have been good signings. So hopefully January might be okay. Particularly if we're in a bit of a rough spot in the league, you might think that possibly Fosun might be a bit more willing to splash the cash. But I don't think we will be. I think we'll probably be fine. We'll probably be mid-table, and that's kind of how I expect we'll be through the whole season. I'm not delighted with that, considering we were in 7th a couple of years ago, but based on last season, any improvement is good. It's progress. I think we just need to have a little patience, a little more optimism, a little more positivity around the fan base and around the community, because there's a lot of negativity. It's kind of a miserable place right now. We want to sort that out. We want more happiness. Be happy. Okay? That's an order. And there's a wasp in my room. Thanks everyone for watching this video, if anybody did watch this video. Yeah, first video on my channel, obviously. Probably be uploading semi-regularly. Not just about Wolves, I want to talk about football in general. Yeah, there's definitely a wasp. Somewhere. But I don't know where it is, and that's scary. Thank you for watching anyway, and peace. Whew. That wasn't too bad, I don't think.